so much, Stefan. So, thank you so much to everybody, and I would like to say a very big thank you to Stefan Ludgenau, our dear friend from Austria and the host of today, for your determination in bringing your idea into this project since 2022, I think, if I don't remember bad. So I'm Erasmo Mancini. I'm a PhD researcher from Lateran University in Rome, and I'm the project manager of Movimento Europeo in Italia, European Movement Italy. A little bit of introduction of what is European Movement Italy. I know a lot of you already know. For the one who are new, European Movement Italy is part of the European Movement International Network. We are almost 30 country representatives all around Europe, not only in the European Union. We have representatives in Norway, UK, Serbia, Turkey. And our main goal as an organization, both at European and Italian level, is to bring and to disseminate European integration values around Europe inside our democratic societies, having a very strong focus on the democratic values that are on the basement of our European Union that currently is funding this project. Okay, a little bit of white noise, nice. Maybe it was a comment to my introduction. So, what to say? I would like to start with, I was thinking about to start with what Stefan said 3 years ago now. I remember it was late 2021 or maybe January 2022. Stefan told me, yes, we can arrange this project in this way. I would like to bring this idea in this way. And I think that the upcoming war in Ukraine will not block us from traveling. I remember it because, as a PhD researcher in European Union law, international law, I was quite surprised from the fact that you were right, because I told you, I don't think there will be a war in Europe. And I told you, and you told me, no, I think it will. And then we know what happened.
I wish you were right.
Yeah. And then when it happened. And I think it's really, really important to be here as Europeans, not only as Italians, Romanians, Portuguese, Greek, and Austrian, but as Europeans, first of all together having the possibility to travel, having the possibility to talk among each other, among different nationalities, part of the same community. Because this is something that is not anymore guaranteed in our world. We have a war in Europe, ongoing, in Ukraine. We have an aggressor. We have rising dictatorship and falling democracies around the world. We have a conflict in the Holy Land. And the world is changing very fast. And I strongly believe that having not a conservative, but a developing approach to the memory, that is the main goal of Remembrance Project and the program, is very, very important, especially for young generation. So if we can move to the Italian, to the little presentation. Yes, thank you so much. So what will be the focus of the Italian team? European Movement Italy has another characteristic. We are very, very strongly connected with the history of European integration thanks to the relationship we have with the Manifesto of Ventotene authors. Manifesto of Ventotene is a philosophical, political piece of literature that is considered like one of the pillars of the European integration projects. And we have the luck to have our president, Mr. Piervigilio Dassori, Professor Piervigilio Dassori, that used to be the personal assistant at the European Parliament of Altiero Spinelli, that was the main author of the Manifesto of Ventotene. Our strong connection to the relationship between democracy and freedom of speech that was emblematic of Manifesto of Ventotene, since Manifesto of Ventotene was written during a prisoning period of Altiero Spinelli, Eugenio Colorni, and Ernesto Rosti in the highland of Ventotene during the fascist dictatorship. During that period, when they were absolutely out of the world, without connection, they managed to imagine in 1942 a Europe of solidarity. They already imagined that Europe would have been a democratic Europe, not probably a democratic Europe, but a Europe free from fascism and Nazism. Also, if in that year, allies were not winning. They have this capability to see over the drama of the Second World War. And despite their condition, they managed to express freedom in a free way, their thinking and their beliefs. So we decide to have as our main path and our main goal in this project the capability to make a comparison between what happened in terms of freedom of speech, media, and information manipulation during the fascist era, the 20 years of fascist regime in Italy that was the longest in Europe and was also the first in Europe. As a matter of fact, the term fascism was invented in Italy, unfortunately. It came from the group of woods that during the Roman period was symbol of violence and landowner power on slaves. And we want to make a comparison of what is happening today, not only in Italy, but in general in Europe, with the manipulation of information and with the freedom of media that is currently manipulated, is currently compressed in our democracies. 2 months ago, almost in March, our president, Giorgia Meloni, the current prime minister of Italy, make a citation, make a reference to Manifesto di Ventotene. There was a strong reaction in Italy after the election of Donald Trump in the United States, and there was a big protest, big public showing up in Rome, in Piazza del Popolo, that we contribute to organize, to ask more Europe, more European Union, more European unity in front of the menace of autocracies, Russia, but we hope no, but probably also United States in the future. And in front of this democratic expression, our prime minister decided to make a citation of Manifesto di Ventotene, in the parliament. The problem is that she took a very controversial part, extrapolating it from the reality of Manifesto di Ventotene. It was a part calling for the communist rebellion, communist revolution. Of course, all the people that were anti-fascist in Italy in that period was communist for nature, because it was the only model possible after the Catholic one in our country. So she decided to take only that part without considering all the evolution of Manifesto di Ventotene in the years and absolutely deleting all the relevance of this document, trying at institutional way to manipulate the history of that piece of political and philosophical democratic heritage that we have. Why I choose this example? Because this is what we want to underline with our project. So, fascist regime in Italy invented the propaganda methodology, the manipulation of information trying to hide the reality to the population. Now we are assisting not only in Italy to the manipulation of information, not only anymore at social media level, society level in general, but also at institutional one. So, and the first victims, the first vulnerable group that we are seeing is suffering this condition of misinformation, disinformation, and fake news spreading are the youths. People of my age, I'm 28, but especially people starting from 16 years old that have as only a source of information, the social media, for example. And the problem is that since also the institutional level start to embrace this methodology, we have a problem. We have a problem in keeping our democratic society alive. I don't think there is a risk of ending the democracy in Italy, but I think that we need to make a reflection on which kind of democracy we want to have and which kind of freedom we should protect. And the memory of what was the darkest time of our age and how the propaganda and the manipulation of historical and actual information, especially on First World War in Italy during the fascist period, bring the country from a democracy, a full democracy, to a dictatorship through parliamentarian election. I think it's really important. So our path will be focused on those two main pillars. What happened at that time, what is happening now, and trying to understand how we can avoid it, and what is the best path we need to engage to reach a better future and to protect our democracy. Of course, we will have our international event, a national event in Italy in autumn almost. I'm sorry, I can't give you a formal date for many reasons. We will discuss about it in the partnership meeting later. But I can tell you for sure that it will be around Rome, in the area of Rome, and it will be between the first week of October 2025 and the first week of November 2025. So I hope we will manage to offer you a very interactive approach to the topic. We are developing in the last 2 years a very deep developing of non-formal educational methodologies. We think it's very important with the younger generation. So we will try to implement it in a very interactive way in Italy, and we hope it will be very useful to the general path and objectives of this amazing project. Again, thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Anna. Thank all Foster Europe for your job and for this amazing event. Thank you so much.